Well, the Dallas Cowboys aren't the only ones running wild in Big D. NASCAR is here, and Trackside Live is at the Great American Speedway. A spectacular crowd on a beautiful day here for our Friday night party / television show, Trackside Live. Glad you're with us here on Speed. Jeff Hammond, Larry McReynolds, Steve Burns, and DW, Darrell Waltrip here. Look at the crowd.
I believe we got a new 2009 record.
It's a record.
Yes, it is.
Guys, it may not wind up being the biggest, but it's definitely the rowdiest so far.
Bunch of Mustangs out there.
You got that right. Bunch of wild Longhorns.
Yeah, Longhorns.
That's it.
You know, guys, it's kind of funny. We just left the slowest racetrack that we race on and have come to the fastest racetrack we race on. And you know why? When I say that, I always think about how versatile these drivers are. You know, one week they're on a little half-mile bull ring, beating and banging on each other. The next week they're in Texas here on a track that's the fastest on the circuit, pretty much. And the skill it takes to make that transition from one week to the next. 35 mile an hour, probably 40 mile an hour in the middle of the corner at Martinsville. 135, 40 mile an hour in the corner here at Texas. Big transition.
And the pole speed over 190 miles an hour today for David Rudiman.
Well, the thing is, what I'm thinking about, guys, when you mentioned David Rudiman, that 00, think about it a year ago. That 00 was a little bitty pile when Michael McDowell got through making his qualifying run a year ago. And now today, David Rudiman takes that same number and puts it on the stop here. I mean, that's a pretty big turnaround for that entire Michael Walter team. Congratulations, David.
I can tell you've been out on the range the last couple of days.
Yeah. Been kind of tired and, you know, trying to drive them doggies along, you know what I mean?
Yep. And talk about them little bitty piles. That's what I think.
Well, I tell you what, before we get too caught up in Texas, it may have been the slowest, but I'll tell you what, that race last week at Martinsville, I know we had 2 cars that led most of the laps, but what awesome racing we had. As you said, Darrell, when we came on the air with our broadcast last Sunday, kind of disappointed us a little bit at Bristol. Everybody was kind of cool, calm, and collective, but, buddy, I think they had it bottled up for that 500-lap race last week at Martinsville because we saw some good racing all day long.
That kind of stuff.
I like it. Short tracks, short tempers. But I was a little bit disappointed when the race was over with because if Jimmy Johnson had gone down into turn 3 and rooted me up out of the way and taken the lead, I wouldn't have been saying, oh, it was just racing. I'd have been saying, I'm in your face, dude, and you're going to have to answer to me. So,
well, I think what you're saying is this is what you wanted to see, I think, after that race. Yeah, we wanted to see burnouts by whoever won the race, but I think what we were looking for as we went into the post-race was basically Denny Hamlin going over to Jimmy Johnson and saying, what did you spin me out for?
You were in my way. Sit down and be quiet.
That's what we wanted to see. Isn't that what we wanted to see? That's what we need, emotion, passion. I'll settle down now.
Yeah, you may be able to get out there in the crowd because you're acting like they are.
I'm gonna give you the black flag in just a second.
No, you ain't got to worry about that. If he jumps in my face one more time, I'm going to throw him out there.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I want.
That's what I want.
That's what I want.
Well, you boys know the Shell Garage is where we keep our expert information. It is hidden from week to week. Well, this week our expert here in Texas is Cowboy Jeff Hammond. It's true. And what do you get when you let Jeff show his expertise to our rookie Rutledge? Take a look.
really thank you for guys working with me, because this guy really wants to win these Spurs. He wants to become a cowboy. But you know how hard that is. And I mean, he's kind of strange. I mean, I kind of worry about him a little bit. You never know what he's going to show up and what he's going to be like when he gets here and
Hey,
everything.
Jeff. Hey. I'm so excited about today. Thanks for inviting me on the cattle drive. It's going to be great.
What I tell you, Rutledge, that's not going to get, you're not going to win these Spurs looking like that. You want to be a cowboy, you're going to have to change.
Okay.
You got to change a lot. We've got some clothes for you.
All right.
Everybody's going to work real hard to try to make you into a cowboy, but you know, sometimes I just wonder how I get myself into these things. Get in the city jail right there and change your clothes. Hey, fellas. Don't mess with the locks on the door, okay? So, Rutledge, can you imagine this right now? This is the way they moved cattle back in the late 1800s. How you doing? Hey, put your hat back on. That haircut will get you arrested around here. All right, Rutledge, the cattle drive's done.
We made it.
Congratulations, you made it. You did a good job,
Thank you,
everybody.
buddy.
How about it, gang? You did all right, didn't you? All right, yeah. All right, guess what? Drinks on me and Billy Bob. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Let's go.
Come on.
Well, this got you something you can handle. I got a little mezcal, you got a little milk.
There we go. Here's mud in your eye, partner.
Mud in your eye.
Oh, man. Hand over those Spurs. I'm ready.
Oh, you want the Spurs, huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're not there yet.
What else would I have to do to show you I'm
Well,
ready to be a real
just because
cowboy?
you dressed the part, just because you rode a horse, just because you drove a few cattle, there's one more test you got to take.
What's that?
The bull.
The bull?
The bull.
Let's do it. Let's ride. I'm ready. I want those chaps. I want those Spurs. I want it all, baby. I shouldn't
right.
call you baby.
Here we go.
Sorry. Jeff, that's a real bull.
Yeah, it's a real bull. Rutledge, I want you to meet Big Jake. You
Hey,
want the
Big
Spurs,
Jake.
you got to ride Big Jake.
Ride this bull for those Spurs.
This is what you're wanting right now. If you want to be a cowboy, you got to ride Big Jake.
Okay. Okay.
Any problem?
No, that sounds great.
Where
I'm
you going?
just no, I was gonna I just gotta grab something real quick and then I'm coming right back, me and Big Jake. And
yeah, you and Big Jake, 8 seconds. Spurs.
I think that's my phone. I'll be right back. That's my phone.
Rutledge, where you going?
I think my phone's ringing.
Big Jake, I think you scared me.
Woo! Now that was fun.
What?
Hey, fellas?
What was fun?
What's up, Big Jake?
I had a time of my life. Thanks for taking me out.
You
there.
ride Big Jake.
Larry, he didn't know whether to ride him or milk him. That was his problem.
That wouldn't work, Daryl. I hate to tell you that.
Well, I'm just telling you, that's what he knows about a cow.
You see these right here?
Yeah.
Who's
Is it
got them?
time? You've still got them. I'm ready. I'm
gonna tell you what now. I'm gonna let this be decided by our panel and our audience.
Well, look.
Daryl,
Wait a minute.
Daryl, real simple. Did he cowboy up? Just real simple. Did he cowboy up?
He got on the horse, but he looked like he was riding in the Macy's Day Thanksgiving parade. He was going down through there.
Hey.
Cowboy,
Parade, you know?
cowboy up, cowboy down.
He was up on the horse. I give him that.
Okay, Steve, cowboy up, cowboy down.
They say cowboy down. I'm with them.
Cowboy down.
Larry?
Oh, come on,
Cowboy
fellas.
down.
Cowboy down.
Gotta
Okay.
go ride Big Jake.
I mean, what do you think, folks?
Come on.
Down.
Down.
That's Cowboy down.
Oh, this is breaking my heart, you guys.
Better than your neck.
That's what I thought was going to happen
All
on
right,
that
all
horse.
right, look. Next year he gets to come back. I'll give him one. He gets the other if he goes ride Big Jake
Yeah.
next year.
What do you think?
Yeah.
You get one. You don't
Well,
get the other.
I think I'm supposed to say mighty obliged, partner. Is that,
Well,
is that right?
the thing is right now, you better say thank you to the folks of the down at the stockyard.
I had a great
Christian
time.
Jaworski and
take
from
those
Billy
boots
Bob,
back.
Pat, and Pam and Billy Minnick. I mean, if it hadn't been for them folks right there, you wouldn't have got a chance to come down there, City Slicker.
Oddly enough, my horse called in sick today.
Yeah, I
You
know.
You need to take those boots back. To
What is it
bars
you
up
said
front.
about Hammond? He wanted to ride longer, but he ran out of...
He went for a ride today, but he was going to ride a little bit longer, but he ran out of quarters.
All right, Rutledge. Thank you.
Get you.
Good luck, Big Jake.
Get out of
Give
here.
those boots
Rutledge.
back. Well, it's time for our Advanced Auto Parts Who's On Tonight. Coming up next, Greg Biffle joins us. A little bit later on, David Gilliland. That's your Advanced Auto Parts Who's On Trackside Tonight. Stay with us here on Speed.
Trackside is presented by new Shell nitrogen-enriched gasolines. Brought to you in part by Super Clean Degreaser. Not just clean, super clean. And by Prilosec OTC. Block the burn all day and all night.
Greg Biffle already has 14 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series wins, and he's a good bet to win a championship in all 3 of NASCAR's Premier Series.
Get in there, young man.
How are you?
How's your ribs handling?
I'm doing good.
You feel good?
Yeah, I feel good.
Y'all healed up?
I'm all healed up.
Atta boy.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you ready for a boxing match then?
I'm ready.
I can go to the body on you?
No, probably not yet.
Then you're not healed up yet.
Give me a few more weeks.
Still a little bit tender.
Yeah, a little bit
He
sore.
gets in a wrestling match every Sunday.
Right. I was surprised to hear that, I feel pretty good. And I was surprised to hear there's a lot of force in your body in that car, So, but, I feel pretty good.
I think it's the tires. I've watched the cars. Are the tires good? Do they feel good, or are they?
The tires feel great. I mean, the car feels like it's in the racetrack. You can feel it slow down, as the track gets slick, like always. And, my car was really good in race trim today, and it was really good in qualifying if, could have got somebody to drive it worth a dang.
You got to, hey, you're going to be careful. What race was it when they said that you said they ought to fire you?
That was California.
Yeah. California.
I said, man, I stopped deep in the box and got an air hose. We probably should have won that race, but the guys have been giving me great race cars and really having fun.
You wasn't out of the box, though. That's all.
I wasn't out. I stopped in the box, but
he was trying everything in the world to make that tire change or the crew chief or somebody. He was on your side.
I tried to help you.
Had to rein him back in. I said, come on, Daryl. The back tire was where the front tire is supposed to be.
Yeah, those boxes are big in California.
Yes.
So.
Plenty of room to work.
That's right, plenty of room.
Hey, Greg had a funny line Monday night on This Week at NASCAR. We were talking about brakes at Martinsville, and Greg made fun of himself. He said, I wasn't going fast enough to wear my brakes.
I said, my brakes were great at Martinsville. Best brakes I've ever had. I said, I may not have been going fast enough to wear them out, but no, we've had a rough couple weeks. But Bristol's a great track for us. We're running in the top 10 and had an unfortunate incident with the mechanical issue, but running good here. I'm excited.
Well, and that's what I was going to say, Greg. Obviously the 2 short tracks, they were not good to Roush Fenway across the board. 1 top 10 finish out of the 2 races and only 1 other top 15. But when you look at Texas Motor Speedway, it's been a great racetrack for Roush Fenway. 7 wins here, and it's been done with about 5 or 6 different drivers.
Yeah, I mean, we've had great success here. A lot of the mile and a halves we run extremely well at. And the 2-mile tracks, but my 3M Ford Fusion car was really good today. I was extremely happy with it. Greg and the guys did a great job at the end of practice. I was really happy with the speed. We switched to qualifying, 4th quick, and then qualifying, I just drove it down in the corner. I knew the wind was blowing that way. I got a good 1 and 2, and it showed. I was on the pole going down the backstretch, and I entered turn 3 a little bit easy and a little bit low, and didn't get back to the gas quick enough and made it tight in the center, and cost me a little bit of speed.
Well, a lot more with Greg Biffle coming up. Don't forget David Gilliland in just a little bit. Meanwhile, we'll remind you to locate campgrounds near the Phoenix International Raceway. Visit GoRVing.com. You'll also find virtual RV tours, a free DVD offer, and RV dealer and rental locations in your area. Time now for our Inside Sprint Cup mobile feature. This week we take a listen in to the radio chatter from Martinsville last weekend.
Radio check 1 2. 10-4, got you. Check 1 2. I got you there. You got me okay? Got a copy. 10-4.
This racetrack has hosted NASCAR Sprint Cup Series races every year since the division's inception in 1949.
Green flag goes in the air. Really good job. job on these tires, Jimmy. They look great. You really did a good job for as much as you were pounding on them, man. Good job. Expecting a report card like I got in high school. Not so good.
If I do let him go, I'm going to let him know it, because if he touches me again, I'm going to freaking knock his head off. Palmed off to the middle, loose fell off, and, you know, I had to heat everything up right there doing all this stupid racing. The lug nut on the right front, Corey. Right front, Corey. Corey, right front. Clear out, go, 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 go.
Sorry, it's better to get it now.
Track bar up, get the air out of the right rear. That was a stupid adjustment. I hope we're proud of ourselves for that run. That was excellent. Our day's about shot now.
You just do your best here. You're going to be fine, okay?
There's no way we can compete. All that we're doing is hanging on to a track position that was given to us. It's the most frustrating thing in the world to think that you think that we're better than what we are.
If you didn't blow yourself up, we'd be a lot better. I'll tell you that right now. I'm watching this thing, okay? You made a change. It didn't work. Instead of saying, okay, let's go back with it, all we hear is a bunch of stuff on the radio. So let's get serious here, okay? You understand?
Oh, 10-4, dude. 10-4. Roger, we don't make any good adjustments during the race.
I heard it from a lot of guys. I heard it from one car owner, as a matter of fact.
Hey, did you ever call Junior Johnson or Rick Hendrick dude?
No, I never called him dude, but I will. And Hammond remembers this. He was telling me what to do on the racetrack and the pits and everything, and I was arguing with him. He said, Durrell, you want to drive that car or you want to run these pits?
Yeah, and you know the whole big difference right there? It was a simple yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I didn't say yes, dude.
But
yes,
you know,
sir.
the thing about it, I've never driven a race car, so I do not know the frustration of driving a car that will not respond. But I sat on that pit box for 18 years, and I made adjustments on race cars that would not respond. And I know that's very frustrating. But what I want to say is I'm going to take Roger Penske and Kurt Busch and Pat Tryson out of the equation. What I would see there is those guys on that crew that everything Kurt said just beats them in the ground, And I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough. You're so frustrated inside that car, and you're giving it 110% all the time, just as hard as you can go. And then somebody's telling you that you can, do better. They're trying to cheerlead you, because that's what you want, is positive thinking. But sometimes it's frustrating because you're trying as hard as you can, and you feel like they don't know that sometimes. So, it's really difficult. A lot of emotions, when you're inside those cars.
But, I'm sorry, Steve.
No, I was going to say, your jack man, Rodney Fetters, told me earlier this year, in fact, he said, Greg gets emotional during the race, but we don't care because we know he's giving it 100%.
Well, the first thing you need is a mute button. If you had a mute button, that would solve the problem. But
there you go.
There's also, and Jeff knows this because I was a little bit guilty of doing a lot of those same things. All you're trying to do.
I hope y'all got that recorded.
Yeah. A lot of times the driver is frustrated. He's just trying to motivate. It's his way. It might be a dumb way, but it's his way of trying to motivate the guys to be better. Yep. I'm out here. I'm driving my butt off. I'm taking all the risks. And when it's over with, what are they going to say? Are they going to say the pit crew wasn't very good? No. They're going to say the driver wasn't very good.
Right. Well,
so that's the frustration.
You know the deal, because you and I had it. what is said on Sundays forgot on Monday.
That's right.
You know, you've got to be. That's our job. Larry knows this. If you're going to be mad at somebody, be mad at me. If you're going to take anything out, take it out on me.
Do you still do it that way?
Oh, yeah.
Still do it that way.
What's said on Friday night is forgotten on Monday.
Exactly. Forgot on Monday.
This is what comes to mind. Let's say we played it last week. It's blowing up.
Comprende?
Check the other box. Does it have fuel pressure? Is it water? Everything's fine. It's blowing up.
We just wanted to make sure, Greg. That's all. We just wanted to make sure.
Why is it when the driver tells them it's blowing up and it's
They don't believe you.
There's not rods and oil running
Check
everywhere,
this,
they
check
don't
that.
believe you?
Are you sure?
I know, are you sure? I've had them say, it's not blowing. Go back out and see if it's all right now. I said, man, it's blowing up.
But Daryl, there have been instances, you go back into history and you check it. There's been some times where guys have broke rotor buttons that could have been fixed, and the driver said it blew up, and the crew chief took him for his word. So you've got to sometimes go through the procedure.
That little man that counts backwards in our ears.
He's hollering and screaming.
Well, no, I was going to tell Hammond, I need to go to break. Comprende?
Comprende?
He got the 10, and now he's going back up.
All right,
We're blowing up.
Comprende? More with Greg Biffle coming up. Meanwhile, still to come on Trackside, we'll fill you in on the Prilosec OTC Barbecue Challenge taking place this weekend here at Texas Motor Speedway.
Trackside is brought to you in part by Wrangler, proud sponsor of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans.
Sunday on Speed, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, roars into the Lone Star State. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. Live coverage begins Sunday, 11:30 Eastern. NASCAR on Speed. Be there. Go ahead, Tex.
Well, I don't really know where we want to start at. We had such a very, very good discussion during the off-camera. So
that we should have been filming that.
Yeah, we should have been.
But I brought something.
He brought you something.
I watched the beginning of the show back there. And if you and Rutledge are going to continue to bull ride and do that, I brought you some next gear bandages.
Some 3M product. Okay, cool.
So there's all kinds of stuff in there. So I know.
Hey, Hammond, there's face cream, hand cream,
no hurt tech.
wrinkle.
Yeah.
So if you need some bandages, I brought you some stuff, and I guarantee you Rutledge will need that if he gets on that bowl.
I like this right here. It's a no-hurt tape.
Right. All the hurt's gone when you put that on.
Okay. All right. That's what I need. Thank you very much, Greg. I really
nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
We'll continue with our theme of showing emotion and continuing our discussion maybe on Kurt Busch. 2 or 3 years ago, he got into the back of you here, the back straightaway. We didn't hear a lot out of you, but what is now Mrs. Biffle expressed her disconcern or concern about this whole situation to what is now Mrs. Kurt Busch.
Yeah.
Right on pit road.
Yeah, it was a deal, you know, where Nicole was, you know, she wasn't obviously mad at Eva, but she was mad at the situation. Like, Kurt is going to hurt somebody, you know, if he continues to wreck people on purpose.
There you go.
At the end of the backstretch. So
You had no idea, I guess.
I had no idea, but all I know is I got wrecked going down the backstretch, you know, and that's unfortunate. You know, we had a great car, and we were, you know, a lead lap car, and got turned around. But, you know, speaking of showing emotion, I love it so much talking to the fans and doing these shows. I'm going to do a radio show on Monday night, 9 o'clock, and it's going to be like a podcast. So live on the internet. Go to gregbiffle.com, click on the radio. You're going to be able to call in, email questions, everything. So it's going to be kind of fun.
Hey, he's already asked me to come on as a guest. What do you
Oh, really?
that? Huh?
Come on.
Can I do it? Here, I'll be happy to do it. First of all, what's it pay, and can I do it from my house?
So you can do it from your house, and the pay's very good.
Okay. I get a basket of goodies, right?
Hey, Greg, what about your other show on Monday night?
Well,
you're doing such a good job, though. But you know,
that's 8 to 9.
8 to 9.
This show starts at 9.
And take all that information.
Oh.
So he gets all that information from that show, and my brother.
Well, you were
and just rolls it right over into the radio show.
But you know, that's pretty cool. It's kind of like boys' night out is TV night out.
That's right.
You know, you're working on your broadcasting skills.
Yes.
Hey, you know, last year I was just looking at the points. Last year you were third in the points at this time.
Yeah, I was
and you're third this year.
Or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, you're third this year. 23rd.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 weeks ago we were third in points.
Yeah, well,
or tied for Matt with third. And
you ended 08 with so much momentum, and you were, you know, a threat in the chase. And
this
man
started off good. You know, 3 weeks ago third, but a wreck at Atlanta. You know, engine at Bristol, and then last week we didn't run so hot. So I think we got all that behind us, and we're ready to move on. Our car was good today, and I think we're going to have a good run here. I love Phoenix, so lots of good racetracks coming
Good
up.
for you.
Well, I know in checking with some of the folks, because, I mean, I've been worried about you guys, you know, because I used to work with Jack. So, I mean, I'm really kind of concerned about Roush Fenway and the Fords, make sure everything's kind of going like it needs
Sure.
to. And I found out that, you know, you guys were pretty excited about your short track program, but I guess you kind of missed your setup a little bit, and you guys having to kind of go back to, I mean, I understood you showed up here basically with what you guys had won with here a year ago, you know, chassis-wise and everything.
Yeah, we did, and we have some new stuff, and we tried them both in practice today, and we're a little bit faster with the new stuff. So we're pretty excited about that. Our Fords are running stronger than ever.
Right.
You know, we're just so excited about how Ford's doing as a company. Their cars and trucks are selling great, but you know, we're excited to be back here in Texas. That's
Hey,
for sure.
you guys are fighters and Ford's fighters,
That's
right?
right.
That's exactly right.
You know, Greg, we were talking on our broadcast today. When you look at the 8 racetracks from Martinsville last week to Dover, which is actually the last broadcast of NASCAR on Fox, when you look at those 8 racetracks, 6 of those tracks, they have races in the chase. And with the no testing, it's so important you're gathering as much information right now in the spring for the run in the fall.
Yeah, absolutely, we are, and you know, that just, you know, that's another, you know, little bit of a bummer about Martinsville, but we did run good at Bristol. You know, we had a pretty good car. You know, we were running in the top 10. You know, we weren't leading the race, but that's something to build on for sure. And you know, you're right. All these races are very important for us for no testing. And you know, we've had a few issues, and you know, you got growing pains all the time. You know, stuff's changing. You know, what worked last year doesn't work this year.
Yeah, you got plenty of room for improvement right now.
That's right.
You had a 34th, a 39th, and a 28 in the last 3 races.
I know it.
You got plenty of room to
preaching to the
improve.
choir there.
Yeah, I think you
Get back on track here.
Unfortunately, I know that.
Greg, before you go, I want to ask Hammond a question since you brought the next care stuff. Did you ride Big Jake?
Oh, that wasn't my job. No. Y'all got to understand something right there.
It's like, can you hold your car wide open here? Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure. You can.
Right. I learned that from you,
That's
Darryl.
right.
Hey, how's your calendar going right quick?
Oh, it's going great. You know,
Okay,
the
good deal.
NASCAR Pet Calendar, it's at
Great.
GregBiffleFoundation.com. It's selling excellent. And, you know, thank you for everybody's participation and all the drivers. We're shooting, you know, photos for next year already.
Yep.
And
They told me I'm in, so
You're
you better
in.
not be telling me a story now. I'll bring Big Jake. Come
Goats
looking
and all.
for you.
Goats and all.
I thought it was dogs. I didn't any kind of pet.
well, I mean, we want to promote, you know,
Because
pets.
Hammond has like a chicken coop.
Well-
he has like a goat little arena, and
As long as he treats them humanely, that's what we care about.
Hey, and I've got a donkey named DW. Can I bring him?
Is that the same as a jackass?
I'm not going there.
hey,
I didn't mean DW. I meant the donkey.
You're going to have to define humanely.
Oh, no.
I gotta go.
hey,
I can't-
Hammond puts lipsticks on pigs.
If that's humanely, he's in.
Jeff, you can put a bow in a pig's hair and it's still a pig. Just want you to know that. Thank you very much, Greg Biffle. He needs to go now.
Thank you.
David, he said thanks. David Gilliland coming up in just a few minutes. Still to come on Trackside. We'll fill you in on the Prilosec OTC Barbecue Challenge taking place this weekend here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Get more NASCAR at speedtv.com. Comprehensive news and analysis, exclusive features, and more. Just go to the NASCAR section of speedtv.com. Seen daily. SpeedTV.com have teamed up to form the most powerful online news in NASCAR. Visit SpeedTV.com. Well, as the action on the track continues this weekend in Texas, another competition is heating up. The Prilosec OTC Barbecue Shootout Series kicks off with our own Rutledge Wood on the scene to give us a taste of what's in store all weekend.
Here at Texas Motor Speedway, Prilosec OTC brought out their barbecue shootout series and put it right next to the speed stage. So of course I had to come find out what it's all about. Let's go see. So one of the competitors here for the barbecue shootout series is Big Mike from Laudable Barbecue. Mike, tell us about your time so far.
Well, we've had a great time out here at Texas Motor Speedway. You know, this deal's sponsored by Prilosec OTC, and man, the fans have been great out here so far. We're doing some cooking demos, getting some samples out, got a little competition going.
Awesome.
It's a cool time.
And what do you tell us what you're making?
Well, we're doing some sliders out here. We're doing some brisket tomorrow, doing some pork butt, chicken, ribs. We got it all happening out here this weekend.
Now, anyone who owns a smoker that looks like a real Texas Longhorn is a guy I gotta meet, and that guy is Bill. Bill, tell us about this crazy smoker.
Oh man, you know, everything's bigger and better in Texas, and we just gotta have something that nobody else has. It's a one-of-a-kind smoker. Smoke comes out the nose and the horns.
We're even giving out samples of Prilosec OTC. There you go, my friend. This barbecue shootout series is a blast. Have you had fun so far this weekend?
I always have a good time. I'm actually the grandfather of barbecue. This is my 33rd year of being out on the barbecue. Well, since 1977 was the first year I cooked in competition.
Look at these trophies they brought out. This one's for the grand champion. It's bigger than most of the trophies DW's won put together. They've even got Jeff Burton's car, the Prilosec OTC car, which is the last car that he won here at. You know what that means? He's gonna win. There you go. Enjoy that. Use as directed. Use as directed.
You know, everybody talks about, well, how can you say it's a true Texas Longhorn? Right here, guys. Deep in the heart of Texas, baby. Deep in the heart of Texas.
The stars at night are big and bright. Deep in the heart of Texas. Yeah, enjoy that barbecue.
Well, today's barbecue event is proud to support the Speedway Children's Charities. To learn more about these worthy causes, please visit www.speedwaycharities.org. And coming up, stay with us here on Trackside Live. David Gilliland joins us at the Texas Motor Speedway. Michael Waltrip and Chad Canals break down the Texas race Monday on This Week in NASCAR. Also profile will be the best scanner audio from Texas in the Radioactive feature. This Week in NASCAR, Monday at 8 Eastern, and that's only on Speed. Well, David Gilliland's been the Cinderella story of 2009. He drives the number 71 TRG Toyota. He's from Riverside, California. Please welcome David Gilliland to Trackside Live.
Right. Oh boy, how you guys doing, man?
How you doing, Dave?
Good, real good.
Good, good. You been watching some of the show?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, I got to know then.
Must not have watched it all because you still came on it.
Yeah, exactly.
The question I was wondering about is, did you ever have any kind of heated discussions with any of your people as far as, you know, you driving and especially the fact that, you know, you work for your dad. I mean, you've been on both sides of the equation here. Your dad was a driver. You kind of like worked on the crew chief, and then all of a sudden you decided to become a driver. You know, was it because you didn't like the way the driver talked to you, became a driver? What was the deal?
No. I mean, I've always wanted to drive, and, you know, with my dad growing up in racing, he always had to build his own cars, work on his own stuff. That was the only way he could race, and so that's kind of what he wanted me to do. He didn't buy me a go-kart when I was 3 years old or 5 years old or do anything like that. You know, he wanted me to work for it, and that's what we did. So, that's how I got here.
But you've never had a big fussing on the radio with any of your
Not too bad, no. I mean, I just them guys. I think those are the wrong guys to argue with.
See, Daryl?
Booty.
That's why I have my own team.
Yeah,
I fixed that.
That's one way to do it, I guess. But yeah, no, I'm a pretty soft-spoken guy, and I don't get too upset too often. Got upset at Texas last year and learned a big lesson from that, so I'm trying not to do that anymore.
You know, David, Jeff brought up about your dad, Butch Gilliland, and of course ran out on the West Coast, and you were his crew chief. You were not even driving a race car, and all that hard work finally paid dividends in 1997. You won the NASCAR Winston West Championship with your dad, and you were his crew chief.
Yeah, it was awesome. That was definitely one of my biggest accomplishments in racing that I've ever had. You know, just to go there and win the championship. We didn't have a whole lot. He was driving for Strop Motorsports, Willie Strop and Bill Strop, and it was just a great organization. And you know, I learned a lot. But that was at the end of that year is when I decided to start really racing full time myself. I had raced some on and off, you know, on dirt tracks and stuff like that. But that was when I felt like I knew enough to kind of get going and do my own thing.
David, first of all, I need to correct myself. I said Toyota, Chevrolet.
Chevy Impala. Yeah, I didn't hear you right.
No, I apologize.
Yeah.
Hey,
TRD.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You knew what I meant.
I'm with you.
It's a well-oiled machine.
Your 2009 season, you got into this late. And as I mentioned, you guys have been a Cinderella story, but you've done a wonderful job with the opportunity. Tell us about how it happened and how late it happened.
Yeah, it happened really late, man. I was really bummed with the way, having to leave Yates Racing and just, those guys tried so hard to find sponsorship and fought till the bitter end. And, I think three or 4 weeks before Daytona, had to come and make the decision that, hey, we can't do it. You know what I mean? Just digging a big hole and just can't do it. And being a car owner myself and owning my own team, I understand that. It's not what you want to hear, but it's just the way it is. And with the economy the way it is, kind of the way it was. So I went to Daytona and met with some people and talked to some people and met with Kevin Buckler out there. And he said, hey, we might have an opportunity. They weren't even for sure on Saturday of the Daytona 500. They missed the 500. Saturday before the 500, they weren't even sure if they were going to go to California. But we sat down and talked, and if they went, I was going to be their guy. And came back and was mounting my seat in the car, listening to the Daytona 500 on the radio. So a little bit of motivation there.
They
mounted his own seat, huh?
Yeah, I don't do that. It gives drivers a bad reputation. They'll think you got to work on the car and everything.
Yeah.
Did you ever race at Riverside?
No, I didn't. I went there. I was actually probably too young to even get in the pits. I went and watched my dad from the grandstands. But and you?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, and you mentioned it, and I'd like to get your reaction. I know that you had a problem here last year in the race. That was Juan Pablo, and you had a run in, and you, like you said, you're a mild-mannered, kind of cool guy, never lose your cool. But I don't know that these guys that have never raced or never driven kind of understand how a driver can just snap like that sometime. And if you haven't been out there and the pressure and the tension and talking to the crew and trying to be competitive and you're not, it gets frustrating at times.
Absolutely. I mean, in the race car, like you said, you're giving 100% all the time. And, they're like, oh, my favorite thing is when they say, oh, the leader's, 4 back, let's try and pick it up. If you can pick it up, the leader wouldn't be 4 back behind you. You'd be behind him, chasing him down. So, but definitely, I mean, you're in there giving 100%, towards the end of the race. The car's not handling good. You've worked your butt off all day, and you're still running 30th or whatever. And, it gets frustrating, very frustrating. Crew chiefs, I'm sure, you've probably snapped at your guys when you're on top of the pit box.
Who calm and collective under all?
A guy's doing a pit stop, and he drops the lug nut, and I've been a tire changer too, but drops the lug nut, and he got to come back in. And so, this is a pressure cooker that we're all in here. And, if you don't have that kind of, desire to be the best you can at all times, and sometimes you do lose your cool, but you just got to try and keep it in check.
Anger management.
Never
They got their diplomas. They both were ahead of their class.
Look, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You wouldn't let me go to anger management.
No, I didn't want you to. I liked you the way you were.
All right,
I can control you.
More with David Gilliland when we come back.
than me.
Mr. Anger Management, Larry McReynolds, and David will go to the Lazy Boy Lounge.
They got that little red thing in his head.
Relax.
There he does, like a turkey, pops out.
Trackside is brought to you in part by Wrangler, proud sponsor of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans.
Trackside Live, back at the Texas Motor Speedway. Right now, David Gilliland and Larry Mack are kicked back in the Lazy Boy Lounge.
David, you were talking about when you worked on your dad's race car. Unlike a lot of drivers in the Sprint Cup Series garage, it doesn't sound like you raced go-karts, you didn't do quarter midgets. I mean, your first venture really into racing, you were 21 years old. You had 7 races, you won 2 of them, but then you went full-time in 1999 and won the track championship, I think, at Paris, California.
Paris, yeah. Like I said, I kind of, didn't do it, didn't start driving real young, worked on cars and, built my own race cars and kind of grew up racing on dirt and then moved to, NASCAR late models, then the touring division, then the Grand National division, then the Busch Series, and now the Cup. So I've kind of been through all the little steps, but yeah, definitely worked really hard to get here.
Well, I think when we think about David Gilliland, we certainly think about that win at Kentucky in 2006 in the Nationwide Series car. But I've got to believe a race that really jump-started you into NASCAR had to be that win in 2005 in the Toyota All-Star Showdown at Irwindale. That's a big event. every year.
Yeah, it is. You know, on the West Coast, that's our Daytona 500. I mean, that's what we worked all year for. And, yeah, we were able to go out and win that deal. And, you know, Irwindale Speedway is an awesome track. That was my home track, kind of racing late models and stuff like that. So that place has been great to me. Got a lot of fans out there. And to be able to win that race, you know, I really... you know, I was talking to guys like Richard Childress and Jack Roush and people like that at that time. So that really kind of jump-started it, and, you know, it's just everything's kind of taken off from here. But kind of came to a screeching halt here at the beginning of this year, and kind of really didn't know what I was going to do. And, you know, now this deal came up with TRG Motorsports, and we've been plugging right away.
But your story, I think, is a very motivational story, David, because you won that race at Irwindale in 2005. In 2006, you packed your wife, Michelle, the kids, the dogs, everything you had, and you moved from California to the Charlotte area with really out completely 100% something in place with the hopes and aspirations, I'm going to make this work.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I moved. I remember calling my wife, Michelle. We got involved with Clay Andrews Racing, and he wanted to race out of the West Coast and out of California, race some bush stuff. And you know, just kind of told him, man, we need to be back east, and he didn't want to do it. And one day I was there, and he said, hey, okay, I want to go back east and give this thing a try. So I called my wife, and I said, man, we're moving North Carolina. And she said, when? I said, and I'm leaving in 2 weeks. And that's what I did. I left, she stayed home, sold the house, and packed everything up, and I was here working day and night on them bush cars, getting them ready to go to the racetrack. So absolutely, I just figured, you know, hey, I thought I can do it. I think I can do it. That's why I'm here. And you know, we went all in, I guess. If we were playing poker, we'd have definitely been all in, and it's worked out so far for us. Definitely, if I had to do over again, I'd do all the exact same things again.
Well, I think it's worked out pretty good. We need to take a little break here from Texas Motor Speedway Trackside Live. We'll return here more with David Gilliland, and we're going to tell you about who he played golf with in high school, which I think everybody that golfs would love to do this. We'll be right back.
Trackside is presented by new Shell nitrogen-enriched gasolines and brought to you in part by Prilosec OTC. Block the burn all day and all night.
There's no race next weekend, but we go to the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona. Our guests include Martin Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin. That's April 17th from Phoenix. And we're back with David Gilliland. And David, you were on the show once before, and we talked about you playing golf in high school with Tiger Woods, as Larry referenced. But what I want to know is, did you know then, was he that good?
Yeah, my grandpa told me that he was going to be probably one of the best golfers ever. And that was when we were in, like, I don't know, like 8th grade or something. And so I actually went to like 5th grade through like 11th grade with him. And yeah, he was good, definitely good.
David, what keeps you motivated? What keeps you, you know, coming back every week? You know, you've had to work hard to stay in the sport. What keeps you motivated?
I just love racing, you know. I mean, and that's the nice thing about TRG Motorsports too, is we're here, you know what I mean. We're at the point now too where we're not going to probably go to Phoenix if we can't get a sponsor, and you know, just that determination to race, and Kevin Buckler and all the partners at TRG Motorsports have that, and it's just great to be. And Slugger's got it, and it's just great to come here each week with a group of guys that are that dedicated, willing to put everything on the line. And that's where I'm at right now with my career too. I mean, we got to come out here and perform, and you know, I want to be here and I want to stay in this sport, and that's what we're here trying to do.
Got the right attitude, Steve.
That's right,
Got
David.
the right attitude.
Best of luck to you and TRG. You guys have been a great story.
Thank you very much.
We'll plan on seeing you in Phoenix, Mr. Gilliland.
Yeah, we're hoping so.